Help with that, we're going to bring in our money men, business and markets analyst and NewsMax contributor Seth Denson, as well as accounting professor at Montclair State University, Dan Geltrude. Good morning, gentlemen. Okay, starting with the markets, they finished out the week on Friday, closing up this morning. Futures are also up ahead of the opening bell. Okay, so one of the richest men on the entire planet, Warren Buffett, speaking out on that regional bank crisis, predicting there's still more turbulence ahead for the banking industry. Seth, to you first, what are his concerns?
Well, in large part, that banks are run by people, and people can be corrupt, and sometimes we in the media like to enhance the fear because it sells. And Warren is calling that out and saying that, candidly, that everybody's deposits are safe, that while the federal government won't come out and actually say it, they are, and that these are isolated issues. But there still could be issues out there, and fear is the biggest issue of all.
Now here's the story that a lot of people are talking about. So sources are saying that Tucker Carlson is now enlisting the help of his allies to try to get out of his contract with Fox and then possibly start his own media company. Dan, to you. So what do you think is possible when it comes to Carlson's contract with Fox?
Well, not being a lawyer or not seeing his contract, in general terms, I would think that Fox understood that Tucker Carlson was a force of nature and did not want to see him go elsewhere and pull his following from Fox. So they simply tied him up and said, hey, listen, we're going to continue to pay you, but you can't go out and start your own media company or maybe work for someone else. So I think the lawyers are going to be in a heavy-duty battle over this one.
Yeah, I have to completely agree with it. I think that Fox knew what they had with Tucker Carlson, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this develops. The Department of Transportation announcing today its plans to improve travelers' experiences, and they include requiring airlines to compensate passengers whose flights are delayed or canceled. Seth, what could this mean for the airline industry?
Well, hopefully that it means that they'll be a little bit more responsible about canceling flights and staying on top of things. We all remember the Southwest debacle not too long ago, and of course American, United, they've all had them as well. And now the federal government stepping in and saying, hey, if someone has bought a ticket on your airline to get from A to B and you don't get them there and now you've stranded them, you're going to pay for whether that's transportation, whether that is housing or meals or any of those things, so long as it was your fault, i.e. not weather related. So we'll see if this picks up and becomes a rule, but I hope it does. As someone who flies a lot, we want this.
Yeah, you do fly a lot, Seth. I think that would be fantastic. So Burger King, and now talking about they're going to possibly close as many as 400 stores by the end of the year nationwide. Dan, I mean, obviously the fast food industry is extremely competitive, but what is Burger King not doing right that others might be doing right?
Well, with the amount of locations that Burger King is looking at closing, there's something significant happening here, and it's quite simple. Top line, are they not selling enough? Or bottom line, are there too many costs? And either way, Burger King has to take a very hard look at what's happening here. You know, when I see advertisements out there for fast food, to be honest with you, I don't quite see as much from Burger King. So perhaps they are just not pushing their products out into the marketplace enough.
That is such a good point. When I think about it, I cannot think of the last Burger King commercial or advertisement that I really saw compared to a lot of the other fast food restaurants. How about this? So more than 6 months after Adidas cut ties with Kanye West, the sportswear giant has been slow on that plan to repurpose the piles and piles of unsold Yeezy shoes. Seth, how badly is this now hurting Adidas?
Well, they're now in a lawsuit from investors saying that they handled this whole thing wrong, and they're sitting on over $1 billion of merchandise here.
Wow.
The CEO has come out and said there's been had over 500 recommendations, but yet he won't make a decision. So that's the big problem here. Adidas needs to figure something out and get these investors happy.
Yeah, make that decision and make it now. Planet Fitness is now offering teens a free high school summer class all summer long. Dan, do you think this is a win for the company? And what else are these teens able to win as well from Planet Fitness?
I think it's a great idea. I think Planet Fitness going out there and promoting that these young people need to move. It's good for them physically. It's good for them mentally, especially coming out of the pandemic. There's a lot of depression and other mental issues. So for Planet Fitness to offer this to young people out there, I think is a great thing. Let's hope these kids take them up on it. And I think it's a good business move because ultimately you want these young people as they get older to continue working out.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And I also saw that Planet Fitness, that 10 teens who kind of enroll in this free pass could also possibly win $10,000 academic scholarship through Planet Fitness. So that's fantastic to get them moving. And speaking of free money, how does earning $1,000 to binge several movies sound, Seth? What's going on here? Sounds too good to be true.
It's not worth it, Alex, to sit down and watch all 10 Fast and the Furious movies. It's just, I'm sorry. The first one, maybe another one that was in there. Here's the deal. Finance Buzz is promoting this $1,000. They want to know how many crash scenes, have they increased, have they decreased, what's going on. They'll have a series of questions. The family values, when I think of family values, I don't think of this movie, but you have to be able to sit down, watch all 9 through some streaming service, and then go to the theaters and watch the 10th and give your feedback. You could win $1,000. Trust me, your time is valuable. Don't waste it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a single one of these movies. I know they can be quite popular, but to sit down and binge all 9, I'm not so sure about that. Seth Denson and Dan Geltrude, thank you both for joining us this Monday morning.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Rob?
I mean, we take like a day and a half to watch all those?